no semblance or measure of stability in my life. This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Canada.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens. Jeff, as you know, I'm an ADHD boy.
That's right.
I've had the ADHD.
I guess I am. I guess.
That's right.
You got to you.
Well, have you gone and gotten tested since the many, many episodes we've done where it's that describes me perfectly?
No, you're not a doctor, but close enough, right?
Well, I can't give you the medication, Jeff.
Oh, do I need that?
It helps. Yeah. I'm not going to lie to you. It helps.
Yeah.
There are probably a few things you've been trying to fix about yourself that are literally wired into your brain. Huh. But that's true of all of us, I think.
But that would just make my wife's life easier.
Right. And that exists outside of you.
That's right.
Outside of yourself.
Here's the problem with having the ADHD is that it's really easy to put off getting treated for the ADHD.
Okay. This is a digression before we even get into the topic, but no lie, that is the hardest thing about ADHD is getting diagnosed because you have to see a specialist. The specialist takes months. You have to find the right specialist.
I'm already out.
You have to make the appointment. Most of them only do it over the phone.
Yeah.
Not on computer.
No.
Not on computer. You got to wait one phone call.
You know how hard it is for me to make a phone call?
Yes.
You know how difficult it is for me to make a phone call?
Listen, I don't understand a lot about you, but I understand that.
Yeah.
We're living in the same world on that one.
Yeah.
That's what I'll tell you.
It is. It is an act of Herculean will for me to phone someone, anyone, anything, anytime, for any reason. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel you. That is the hardest part. The second hardest part is all of the other things that come with ADHD. But I've got a couple. It's been a big year for ADHD. Hey, round of applause for ADHD, everybody, who's been having a massive year.
Yeah, let's do it.
Congratulations.
Right.
A lot of big studies on ADHD, a lot of big findings. This latest one was just published a day ago, and it's got major implications for everybody. But I want to start with one of these two major things, which does not have implications for everybody because I'm selfish.
It has implications for you?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
It has implications for people who have ADHD.
Okay.
And this is a study that was that's been sent. It's been sent quite a lot. I don't know if we've only been doing a science podcast for nigh on a decade. I don't know if correlation is causation, but a lot of the concerned citizens have been sending in this ADHD story across the multiple methods of which we have. The biggest one is the Discord, patreon.com/wehaveconcerns to find out how to join that. But they either think a lot of our audience has ADHD or a lot of our audience is worried for me.
Well, those don't have to be mutually exclusive.
Yeah, once again, I don't know how science works. But as we have crossed the threshold of 800 episodes, you'd think I'd learn something, but I have not. Yeah. But this is a study that
teach, not to learn.
Yeah, that's right. That's what my history teacher always said to me. He said, "Those who don't learn history are doomed to do 20 push-ups," because he was a gym coach.
He's also the PE teacher.
That's right. Yeah. Here's the deal. ADHD can be a very frustrating thing to pin down and treat because ADHD changes throughout people's lives. It has to do with brain chemistry. It has to do with the situations of your life. It has to do with other physical things that are going on. If you have hyperactive type ADHD, you might do much better with a ton of exercise. And if you don't get that exercise, or if you go through a period of your life where you're a little sleepier, it might be better for your ADHD symptoms, regardless of what it does to the rest of your life. Sometimes you get older and chemicals and hormones and whatever change, and that helps. But here's what's up. One thing that people with ADHD have been saying for years that nobody has believed is we do better when we're extremely busy.
Huh.
Or at least it
you know
feels that way to us.
I think that tracks for me, because having purpose and not being able to sort of vacillate in the space between things is very helpful, because it's like, okay, there's no room to let those thoughts in that get me off track, because things are back to back to back. I got to do this. I got to do that. It's clear. It's actionable.
That's right. There's also a certain amount of context switching that people with ADHD do normally. And if you are context switching between important things, it tends to be more helpful and keep you more focused than, like what you're saying, the context switching between, doing your work and, boy, shouldn't I reorganize that one shelf? Just that one shelf. If I did that one shelf. So
context shifting is transitioning between two disparate activities. Is what
context shifting is when in 5e, it's when a creature is able to move between the different realms or planes.
Yes.
That's a context switcher.
Oh, those are tough, because you think you got them pinned down, and what now they're in the fire realm.
That's
I
right.
get it. Yeah,
that's right. They can be in the astral plane. They can be in the physical realm. They can be in one of the 9 hells. But context switching is essentially like, it's you're busy and you're busy with a bunch of stuff, and so the things that pop into your head tend to be things that are more helpful to you, right? When you are super busy, like my ADHD symptoms were, I think, the least noticeable for others when I was working like 3 part-time jobs, right?
Yeah.
Like in my 20s, early 30s, working like 1 full-time job, a couple part-time jobs, doing my dream hustle on the side. I was always like moving and doing things. And so to people, it just was like, oh, there's a busy, productive person. Right. If I get a day off, fuck, man.
Yeah.
If I get a day off, I can turn an entire house into a mess. I can do nothing, if I have one day but this was sort of anecdotal. And there was also this idea of like, okay, but does it feel that way to you, or is it really that way? And so what we have here is we have a study from Massachusetts General Hospital from Dr. Craig Sermon.
I once auditioned for Massachusetts General Hospital, but they didn't like my monologue. So I didn't get on Massachusetts General Hospital.
That's interesting.
It was going to be like a recurring role, and
wow.
It seemed like it was going to be pretty sweet, and I thought I was right for it, but it's hard to get that Boston accent right.
You were playing a father who had disappeared in the 70s, and you were coming back and you were being played by a different actor, but everybody was like, oh, it's been 20 years. They'll never notice that it's a different guy.
Yeah.
Right. It was like one of those deals.
It was, Dude, it was so sweet. It was,
did you ever audition for like a soap opera type thing?
Dude, Anthony, I did all the soap operas.
Really?
Every single one.
You were in soap operas?
In LA. I did General Hospital. I did
Really?
Young and the Restless.
Yeah. Were you like a corpse or something? What did you do?
Dude, the General Hospital story. I mean, if we want to really tangent, the General Hospital story.
We're talking about ADHD today.
The General Hospital story is funny because, so General Hospital for a period in the early 2000s, I don't know anything about what's going on with it now, if it's even still on. I don't know. I don't know TV, what's going on. But in the early 2000s, when I was first down in LA, there was this weird thing where General Hospital, which is, I guess, supposed to be a soap opera about a hospital, was like,
not really though,
clearly influenced by The Sopranos, and they were doing like this whole gangster subplot thing.
Yep.
Anyway, so I got cast as a henchman for one of the big main guys, who was like a mob boss. And there was a scene where I had to we abducted this young girl, not young, 20s. One of the stars of the show gets abducted by the mob, and they capture her for a while. And I had to do this scene where, as one of the lackeys, we orchestrate this whole thing, and then we grab her, and I hit her on the back of the head with the butt of my pistol. And, knock her out, and then we drag her away, right? And then the guy comes in, he says a line, whatever. So
yeah.
And it was
and
like
you're supposed to when you do something like that, you're supposed to kind of go sideways and not really like towards the head, right?
Well, here's the thing about doing soap operas. If you've never done a soap opera, again, the whole world has changed since then.
If you've never done a soap opera, you really should.
You really should.
Everybody, by the time you're 30, you should really have done a soap opera. You should visit another country. Two of your friends should be into investing. You should be discussing buying your first home, and you should be on one of the major soap operas.
Yeah. So the thing about soap operas is it is a friggin' 9 to 5.
Oh, yeah, dude.
They are out. They are in at 9 o'clock. They're out by 5 p.m. People are home. They have dinner with their families. That's not how most TV shows are shot. That's not how most movies are shot. They're long days. Those are like 20-hour days on film sets and TV sets. And, you stay and you do many, many, many takes. Soap operas are a machine. They work like clockwork. And so there are no second takes. It has to be an utter catastrophe for there to be a second take. We're moving on.
No, they shoot like live to tape, right? So they've got like a 3-camera setup. There's a guy in a booth, and he's like, take camera 2, take camera 1.
That's right.
And that's it.
And
the
they're
scene's
moving.
done.
They shoot, like a movie or a single camera TV show will shoot like a couple of pages a day of the script. And if they're lucky, it depends on the setups. But a soap opera, it will do it all on a set. They'll have multiple sets, multiple stages of a set. And they will, of a soundstage, they'll have multiple sets in a soundstage, I meant to say. But, and they will go through 20, 30 pages in a day. It is an insane pace.
Yeah, my buddy was on General Hospital for a while, and he was like a featured or a main character, and he was like, dude, it's dope because like what you're saying is true. It's guaranteed steady work. It's a regular day job. You get to act every day. But he was also like, I got to memorize like 20 pages a day.
Well, everybody hides their scripts. Like if you're all around the set, it's crazy because, and you understand when for the longest time when I was in acting school and I thought, oh, I never want to do a soap opera. They're so beneath me and they're so low quality and all this stuff. And you realize, well, there's a reason that they don't look great. And it's because they don't have time. They don't have the time. They're just pumping out the content and it's just constant go, go, go. So you're not getting nuance. You're not being able to dig in. It's the pace. Anyway, I say all that to tell you that I'm supposed to run up behind the girl, this blonde, and bop her in the back of the head with the butt of my pistol.
Yeah.
And they drag her away and the guy comes in and says his line. So we have our blocking. We know what we're supposed to do. Rolling. I run up and I, who am at this point 20 something, run up behind her and I go, douche with my, cause I'm like in it, I'm feeling it. And I don't make any contact or anything. There's no violence, but I make the sound with my mouth.
Yeah, you do.
I do the douche sound, douche. Cause I'm an idiot.
No,
and I don't,
that's what we call McGregoring. That's what we call McGregoring, because you and McGregor would make the lightsaber noises, and he had to be told to stop. So you're in good hands. You're in good company, Jeff.
Well,
but you were probably also fired.
Well, no, it made the cut, dude. Moving on, we're in it. So you can watch that episode of General Hospital. I don't know how anybody would, but when I watched it, when it aired, there comes me with the thing, and the sound guy doesn't care. Nobody cares. I walk up, douche, on the back of her head with my mouth.
But that's cool, because that kind of becomes a character choice. And then you're the weird henchman who's like, douche. It's like, get her. You got it, boss. Skadoosh.
I wish they had leaned into it and wrote for me more, but no, that was
Skadoosh, baby.
I just, my shape. But I did Bold and the Beautiful. I did Young and the Restless. I did every one of the ones that shoots in L.A. I did all of them.
My mom was a big General Hospital person, so
She probably saw me say douche.
Douche. Skadoosh is what they call you on the fan wiki.
Anyway, I couldn't get a job on Massachusetts General Hospital, though.
No.
It's harder. The accent's difficult.
That's right. Everybody shut up. This is about ADHD. I apologize. The leader of the study is Dr. Margaret Sibley. This was published in the online Journal of Clinical Psychiatry, which I only have a subscription to these days, to be honest, for the crossword puzzle.
Yeah, it's a really good crossword puzzle, though.
It's amazing. So basically, here's what's going on. These researchers were like, "Hey, we gotta figure this shit out, guys. Come on."
They had a meeting and they wrote it on the whiteboard. Like, let's figure this shit out.
The fuck are we doing, guys? Is what they basically said. I have to imagine that that's how it goes. That at a certain point, there's some sort of disease or malady or disorder or something. And finally, it's just like a bunch of people like just sitting and rubbing their heads and just being like, can we just fucking, guys, it's time. It's time to just figure this out. Come on.
Figure this shit out.
We got to figure this. What are we doing with our lives? They say to themselves. They tracked 483 patients in the United States and Canada. They had a combination of inattentive and hyperactive impulsive ADHD symptoms. Those are the two major kinds of ADHD. Hyperactive impulsive, I mean, they kind of are what they say on the tin. They're both basically the same, but I was very hyperactive impulsive as a kid, but as I become an adult, you become more just inattentive type, really.
Right.
Has a lot to do with the energy of youth, I think.
Yeah. That's just becoming world weary is what that is.
No, but like when you realize, like when you get your diagnosis and you find out that you're like hyperactive inattentive type, you're like, oh, that's why if I'm awake at 2 a.m., I buy a lot lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's impulsive behavior, right? So they followed a bunch of these people for 16 years.
Whoa.
483.
Wow,
yeah.
That's a long study.
483 patients for 16 years, starting at an average age of 8 years old.
Did any of them know about it? Or they were just in the bushes for 16 years?
No, it was just they were wearing ghillie suits. They were covered in those fake leaves, you know?
Just like 12 years in, they're like, man, it feels weird. I feel like there's this one guy who's always at the coffee shop when I'm there, you know?
Yeah.
It's just so weird. He's always writing something in a journal.
I'm going to give you some medication for your anxiety and your paranoia. We've correctly diagnosed you with anxiety and paranoia and nothing else. And this should help you. I don't know why, but it feels like it's just making everything worse. So basically, they found that 3/4 of the patients experienced fluctuations in their symptoms beginning around age 12, which included either a full or partial remission of symptoms.
Wow.
Which is not what you would expect, right?
No, especially not at 12. You feel like that's when things are peaking.
But that's because that's when things are really popping off, right? Periods of remission are more likely to occur during demanding times of life. 12 years old, you're smack dab in the middle of middle.
Yeah.
You're in the middle of middle school. Shit's getting real.
Yeah. Yeah. Your brain's like, I ain't got any time for this ADHD stuff.
Your brain's like,
bigger problems. I got hair in places I never thought I would.
I got hair in places. I'm carrying my textbooks all of a sudden are 13 pounds heavier than they were the year before.
I got to remember a locker combination. What the hell is this?
Dude, 7th grade is one of those ones where you realize we don't have a good like ease in slope ramp to adulthood planned out for kids.
No.
We have like
a series of cliffs.
Yeah, a series of just like hard step offs where it's just like one year you're in 5th grade and it's like, we're going out to gym to play with the parachute. It's scooter day, you know, like shit like that. It's like, hey, why don't you come up in front of class and do a skit? And then you get to sixth grade, it's like 87 pounds of books. Put them in a locker. Get up at 6 a.m. Get fucked.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it's like the 1 year before, it's like, you can still earn pajama day. you know? and then it's like, there's no more pajama day. Now you got to have extra clothes to change into a gym class because you stink. You stink. Everyone stinks now.
There are 17 teachers now, not just one, and they all don't like you. Right. So they were like, huh. But also because they started at an age of 8 and they went for 16 years. You know, some of them started a little older, some of them started a little younger. They also found that like people who started jobs for the first time, people who attended school full time, people who started living independently or started having financial obligations to people besides themselves, started having their symptoms improving. They had greater odds of it. So the more responsibility and the busier they were and the more they took on, the better their symptoms seemed to get.
So you're saying I need to kick my ADHD daughter out of the house at a young age. Just get her out there with full responsibilities.
Look, dude, she's already like 7. It's time to let her go.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean?
You had a good run.
Yeah, it's like you can only do so much. Like, what do you do for them after 7, really?
I don't even know what I did from before 7, frankly.
That's right. So this is kind of interesting. Like, not everyone with the disorder is going to find it helpful to stay busy, right? Like, but how their symptoms respond, like, kind of depends on a person's abilities and strengths and how those abilities and strengths align with what you're doing, right? Like, feeling like you're constantly swamped and like drowning with responsibility and feeling like you're not really great at what you do or like you're just always trying to keep up is not going to be great for it. But, you know, if you're kind of in a space that you can handle, it seems to get a little better.
Is that leading them to some sort of, I don't want to jump ahead, but is that leading them to some sort of treatment ideas about how to, you know, alleviate some of the harsher symptoms? Is there really a pattern here we can learn from?
Well, one of the things that they said is it's not just busy work, right? It's not just we're saying busy, but you know, things like household chores, we know ADHD is not great at. Things like little small organizational things that we would literally consider busy work is not going to do it. And then on the other hand, you don't want to overstress or overwork yourself. So what they found, something that I think you'll find interesting, is they found that high school kids did better with their ADHD symptoms overall if they played a sport and that sport was in season.
Huh. And that is that contributing to the busyness factor or the physical activity part?
They believe it's contributing to the busyness factor. They believe it because even people with inattentive type, it's sort of just like, hey, you have a responsibility. It's something you consider a responsibility, but it's not an extra stressor. It's not something that necessarily takes over your life, right? Like we're not saying these are kids who are trying to go pro or anything. These are just kids who play a sport.
Yeah.
They have these structured activities that keep them busy and are on their mind and keep them focused.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. I think that makes sense. Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah. And, you know, this all kind of leads into stuff that we know that's like, you know, people, you need your day to be planned. You need brief moments to relax. You need to transition from one part of the day to the next. You know, you have to keep consistency because any little bit of chaos is kind of like harmful to it. But you know, so this is kind of interesting study number 1, which I think is cool.
That is cool. You know, I've mentioned before, my daughter is autistic and ADHD. She got diagnosed
and 7 feet tall.
And 7 feet tall. But we have definitely noticed that structure and busy is very beneficial to her, and having knowing the order of things and knowing, you know, what to do next, and any disruption in that. I mean, even to the point of, you know, like grandparents coming into town and staying for a couple days, where it's like, oh, this is a completely different spin on the daily activities is that now grandma's here and now grandma's doing different things with us.
It's like, that's not when we do that, grandma.
Exactly. Yeah. And but it's not, I wish it was that calm, but it manifests in complete, chaos. It just feels like I can't handle this. Yeah.
Of course. It's big. Like order, routine are very big, for anyone on the spectrum. In almost down to every level, right? It's like, what are the 3 foods I want to eat this week? What are the,
right.
What, if I get up at 8 a.m. and we're all supposed to be up at 8 a.m., why isn't everybody up at 8 a.m.? Right down to enforcement of rules and procedure. We're not usually allowed to do that. Why are we allowed to do that right now? I don't like that we're allowed to do that right now.
She's big on at night right before bed. Tomorrow I do this, right? Tomorrow I'm going here. Tomorrow we're doing that. Tomorrow, what's tomorrow? I need to have that focus point in my head of what, So this makes sense to me a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's interesting. It's one of those things where like I always knew it and felt it.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that it was true, and I didn't know that it was across the board. I was just like, this at least makes me feel better. I feel better when I'm busy all the time.
So
but I didn't know,
just going to quit after 16 years. That's just it. We're done.
Yeah, they were just like, well, we did it.
All right.
I'm done. I'm out. And it's like, well, is that all we're going to find out? It's like, yeah, man. We got frustrated 16 years ago around a table, and we said we got to figure something out, and we did.
We did. They found us. We were hiding in the bushes for 16 years. Now they all found us, and here's our findings.
Here's our findings. It turns out that guy wasn't really paranoid. I mean, he is now.
Yeah.
He is now. There's no undoing the PTSD that we've caused him. This second study is the one that was published, like, literally, I think, yesterday as we're recording this. There's also been some confusion around the table of temple-rubbing scientists and researchers about whether there actually is a physical difference between the ADHD brain and the regular brain.
Okay.
I'm supposed to say neurotypical. That's what I'm supposed to say. I'm supposed to say the neurotypical brain.
Right.
But let's be real. That's normal. I'm not normal. It's fine. It's fine. We all got shit, man. So here's what's up. The reason that they didn't know this is because they would take MRIs of people and they'd look at them and they'd be like, well, it looks like maybe there's some structural differences in the ADHD brain. And then it looks like, maybe there's less brain mass, less gray matter here in this lobe, and there's more gray matter in this lobe. And then another MRI would come in and be like, well, I didn't see that. And then a third MRI would be like, well, I saw it, but in reverse. And so it's like, well, what did we learn? And nothing. And they're rubbing their temples around the table again. Yeah. And they're just like, fuck, guys, are we going to figure this out or what?
It's on the whiteboard. We got to do it.
It's on the whiteboard, dude. It's on the whiteboard right underneath learn a second language.
Play the piano.
And sign up for a library card.
Learn pickleball.
It's been there for 2.5 years. All of them have been here for 2.5 years. And they're like, and doctor, you're not personally involved with this study because of your ADHD, right? No, I have no connection to this whatsoever. No, I'm just a normal guy. Normal brain over here. I'm not frustrated by my neurodivergence. That's not what's going on. Why haven't we found anything out? So they were looking at it and they're like, well, this was a team of scientists at Chiba University in Japan. And they were looking at these brain scans of ADHD individuals. And they're like, we got to figure this shit out. And so they created something called the traveling subject method. Which I will get into the traveling subject method here in a moment. But what you need to know basically is the traveling subject method was created to remove the technical noise that has traditionally distorted multi-site MRI studies. Because here's the thing about MRIs, Jeff. You've had an MRI, right?
Yes.
So have I. If you haven't had an MRI, I recommend everybody, by the time you're 30, get an MRI, be on a soap opera. There are a lot of things that you should really do. I had my MRI. and you look at an MRI machine, it is maybe one of the, if not the most advanced, expensive, technical piece of medical technology, right? You're in a room and the room is the tube.
Yeah.
And the people who are not in the tube are not in the room.
Right.
Because they don't want to fuck up the tube. Like, it's very expensive and precise and technical. But here's the thing, Jeff. There are different brands of MRI machines. There are different
like off-brand MR lowercase I. Is that what they?
Well, here's the thing: is I needed an MRI, and my doctor was like, "Well, we don't have one here, but let's take a look." And he found one, and it was really expensive. It was like millions of dollars. But then we went on Temu, and we got a salt lamp, a phone charger, and an MRI machine. $38, free shipping.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And free shipping?
And free shipping.
Wow.
Well, when the app came up, we spun the little wheel and it gave us free shipping.
That's crazy that you got free shipping from the spin.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Crazy.
So here's the deal. Different hospitals, clinics, facilities, whatever, they have different scanners. They're calibrated differently. They have different coils. They run different software. Different versions of the software, right? There's all this stuff going on. Think about if you're the sort of person who has ever tried, whoever was like, got a nice TV and was like, I wonder what it would take to calibrate my television to make sure the color's correct.
Right. Yeah.
And then you realized, never do that. That way lies madness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never do it.
That's so true.
Never do it.
Yeah.
Why? For who? For what? What's going to happen? Nothing.
Nothing, but you'll never get it right, and you'll always be thinking, "What is it? More green? Less green? Less?
Is that
more?
red? Is that red popping too much? Red should pop, but is it popping too much? These are thoughts that should never be in your head. And the moment you try to calibrate a television, and that's just a television, right?
Yeah.
Now let's think about the MRI machine. Let's talk about magnetic resonance, Jeff. Let's talk about getting the coils and the software and the hardware and the environment all to be consistent. And they're
so
like,
you're saying this variance in what they've seen it can be attributed to variance in the machines or the calibration of the machines.
It turns out a lot of it, yeah. Because here's what's up: if you go in for an MRI, usually an MRI is looking for something specific, right? They're great at that. You go in for an MRI and it's like, hey man, we're going to see if there's like a lump, a mass, a weird foreign object, anything like that. They're good at that.
Yeah.
Right? You can tell when you're trying to sort of qualitatively figure out whether somebody has a little less mass or more current, more brain, more blood flow, like whatever, all of these things.
You don't know what you're looking for.
You don't have an exact measurement. Right. And there's not an exact level of variance. And so if you're trying to figure out, are these brains different in any way? That's a big question. And all those little variances can change things, right?
Are we headed toward, we fed all this stuff into AI? Is that where we're headed? Okay.
No, thank God. We fed it all into AI and it came back and the brains looked like they were Pixar characters and it was adorable. It was adorable.
6 fingers on all those brains, but it was fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not about getting it perfect, Jeff. It's about the feeling that art creates. And the feeling that AI art creates is vomit. So listen, this is called the traveling subject method, Jeff, and it's a very intense method that was come up with by the University of Chiba, and it's a bit technical, but I'm going to do the best I can with it.
Okay.
They took the same subject and made them travel to different MRIs.
The traveling subject method.
The traveling subject method, Jeff.
Gotcha. So they used different. They used a variety of MRI machines on the same person to see how different the results were.
Yes.
That's hard to wrap your brain around.
I mean, if you can picture it, Jeff, if you're a video patron, if you're a video supporter at patreon.com/we have concerns, I've created an incredibly technical diagram here where we can look at it. And you're really missing out if you're not a video patron.
And then there's an arrow to point B. I'm trying to describe it.
Don't give it away. Don't give it away. You know what I mean? We got to save a little something for the true fans. No, so here's the deal. Yeah, you basically... you take the same group of people and you know, ADHD and non-ADHD volunteers, and you make them travel around to the same group of MRIs, and all of them get their MRI done at the same number of places. And so you can be like, well, it does turn out that on this MRI, this person looks like they have a little less, this person looks like they have a little more. But we can now sort of calibrate and average out for that.
That seems like a potentially important step in any kind of MRI analysis.
It's wild, right? Like, I was reading this article and I was like, we haven't been doing that?
Yeah.
We have a place underground in France where we keep the kilogram. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we keep the kilogram, and we didn't think that we need to average out these data points.
Well, I think probably the carpooling was problematic.
Sure.
You know, it's like just a logistic thing. It's like, you know, Carol has a sedan, but you know, Jim only has a 2-seater, and it's like, how do you
and then Mark has a fox and a bag of feed, and then Lila has a chicken. And they can't ride together.
No. So you got to figure it out.
That's right. Figure it out. It's not easy. And also, it seems very uncouth to send people a partiful invite to an MRI.
Yeah.
That's just it's not okay. But even if it's just for research. But it does seem like the sort of thing, I was reading this article and I'm like, this is the sort of thing we should have been doing all along, right? Like, this feels like step one. We're always told, the method of the experimentation is just as important as the experiment, right?
Yeah. Right.
Like, if there are any actual science people, like researchers or people studying in STEM listening, and I hope there aren't, we're really dumb. But if any of them are listening, they know that like undergrads will spend so much time coming up with and defending the method of their experimentation. It has to be as ironclad as possible. And we're just giving like 15 people MRIs on the same machine. We're like, I don't know, man. Like, ugh.
Well, you know, you were pretty clear in your setup of all this that, you know, the MRI is a big, expensive thing that not everybody has. Just getting access to one, and that just balloons the cost of all these studies, because it's like, oh, we got to pay to get even one of our patients' results. We got to pay for multiple MRIs across multiple locations. That just feels prohibitive.
Yeah, that's the thing that I was thinking. I was thinking this has got to be it, right? Like, this has got to be it. And that's why it had to happen in like Japan. That's why it couldn't happen here.
Yeah.
Because here we artificially inflate the cost of medical stuff and procedures to where, like, and I mean, a lot of research hospitals will have this equipment and they'll have a certain number of hours put aside for research. But even still, you've got to coordinate with other facilities. You've got to eat into their time. They have their own research going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of this. And I would imagine that you also, for a study like this, you don't want to have too much time in between these scans. This was over the longest thing was a period of 3 months, right? Like, this was done over a period.
They got them bullet trains. So you don't have to have a lot of time. That's why it's better in Japan. You don't have a lot of time.
In Japan,
shoot them right over.
You can get 5 MRIs in a day between the bullet train and the socialized medicine. You can get 5 MRIs and then get one of those big wiggly pancakes.
Yeah, the big fluffy ones.
That's right. Those. The ones that wiggle a lot. I'm just like, wow, look at that. Look at that wiggle on that pancake. It's like, sir, you cannot bring that into the MRI. I'm like, what? It's plastic utensils. It's plastic utensils. It's not going to fuck it up.
We've isolated the variance between MRI machines, and it's mostly wiggly pancakes.
It's powdered sugar and gelatin. Somehow it got into the coils.
Hard to calibrate.
I'm cutting open an egg on top of rice, like in those Instagram things, and I'm just like, that's
beautiful.
crazy. I wonder how that happened. So yeah, I would imagine that kind of stuff does get into it, but you know, we're looking at they over 3 months, they did this to like 14 people without ADHD, and then something like 100 people with, and they're trying to do a much larger study that's going to have 178 typically developing ADHD children, and then 116 kids with ADHD. Sorry, the first one was 14 non-ADHD, and then something like 20 ADHD. Sorry.
No, I'm just curious so they're finding that there is a lot of difference from setup to setup. Are they finding that this is the right way to do this?
They are. Now they do list some limitations here. Like obviously this was a study done in one country. These are participants from a specific geographical region, specific clinical settings.
Right.
So, the study only examined the brain structure characteristics in children with ADHD, elucidated using harmonization. So this is like, what they're basically saying is like, hey, this is one segment of people, and we knew in advance that they had ADHD.
Right.
You know, and even though we're testing against another, we're already primed to look, you know, like that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
They're listing all the stuff. But what they did find is that children with ADHD, as soon as they use the incredible process of traveling subject to correct for all of the variances, kids with ADHD had smaller brain volumes in the frontotemporal regions compared to their typically developing peers, which is one of those Dodoiki moments in science. But we needed the answer to be sure to have the Dodoiki moment, right? So frontotemporal region, we're talking about the attention region. We're talking about information processing. We're talking about emotional regulation, executive function, decision-making, all of the stuff that's busted up in my brain is busted across people with ADHD.
Right. Yeah.
Probably you if you'd go in and get the fucking test done.
I'll maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
You
know what you do? Make a list.
Yeah. So
Make
I
a
can
list.
Ignore that list.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing that people say to people with ADHD. Have you made a list?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I look
got
like
lots of
buddy.
lists.
I'm like the guy from Memento.
I love a list.
I've got lists tattooed all over me.
I could ignore a list all day long.
Buddy, you wouldn't believe the lists, the physical lists, the notebooks, the pieces of software, the things that I can ignore. I'm the Captain America of ignoring.
But so it is a physical, measurable physical difference.
It does seem to be, yeah.
Yeah.
It does seem to be. And what they're looking at now is, okay, we've seen it in this small group, right? This is the group of like 14 versus 20. They really want to see it in that larger group. If they see it in that larger group, now it's going to take, if you imagine how many years and how long and what a scheduling nightmare it must have been to get this many MRIs on this many kids within a 3-month process. Yeah. Now we're looking at doing it to something like 300 kids.
Yeah, that is crazy because, I mean, we kind of glossed over this fact, but it really does seem like doing traveling the person, you don't want too much time to lapse because who knows, like, how do you attribute the difference in, the brain scan to circumstance, to diet, to all the things that may have happened in the interim versus the calibration of the machine. Yeah. So, man, that's got to be a real, like you said, real logistical challenge.
Yeah, and the brain, even though the brain in a child is constantly growing and evolving and things like that, I mean, it's not like it's not like some weird comic book where their craniums are physically growing and you can see it because they took the serum or whatever, but keeping it within a period of a couple months as opposed to like a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Totally. Yeah,
it's going to be completely
massive
different.
Just the human is different over a year at that age.
Oh yeah. 100%. But so what they're hoping is that once they validate these findings on a larger scale, we're going to get earlier diagnosis of ADHD. We're going to get more personalized treatments that can track how therapies affect brain structure, right? Like now that we're getting into the physical nitty gritty of this, like if you have ADHD, you know, and Jeff, I'm just saying, go get tested. Now, if you have ADHD, you know that like a lot of ADHD medication is not a laser, it's a shotgun blast.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of neurodivergency medications are.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure it's something that your family's gone through too, is like you got to try a lot of different medications because one's good for the thing that it's supposed to be good for, but bad for something else in your brain.
Yep.
Bad for your emotions, bad for your physical.
There's stimulants and non-stimulants that, you know, will result in different kind of behavioral changes that you know, and you got to figure out how each kid's biology is going to react. It's a real challenge.
Yeah, I take one kind of medication and I take Adderall, and I have to take slow release Adderall and not quick release Adderall. But I know some people that have to take quick release Adderall because of the way their body works. Some people can't take it at all, and they got to take some. And this is just for ADHD. So the more we know about the actual brain and what's going on physically and how things react physically to these therapies, the better we'll be able to treat things. Now, of course, a lot of this stuff means that, does this mean that ADHD is going to require getting an MRI? Because good luck getting that through my insurance.
Or 5 MRIs.
Or 17 MRIs.
Yeah.
I was hit by a truck, and they kind of didn't want to give me the MRI.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, I get it. They don't want.
And I wasn't in a vehicle. I was a man that got hit by a truck. And they were like, does he need it?
But like the brain though, like do you think
his brain seemed fine. His brain seemed fine. He say sleepy. He say sleepy.
He's so sleepy. But that's probably not brain stuff.
He say sleepy. He not count great.
Yeah.
There is an underlying thing to this that I just think about for all of the good work and the amount of time and money and effort that researchers are spending on things like this, the fact that a study like this took so long because of capitalism and limited resources towards our own health and well-being.
Yeah.
Because
low priority stuff.
Nothing is more important than your health, and we all know that. And so that's the most expensive thing they can sell you. I really do think about that a lot, and I'm not trying to turn this into capitalism at the end there, but capitalism is the bad guy.
Yeah, it does seem that way, or at least, capitalism in this particular field, right? Like plenty of countries have capitalism and do a little carve out for this part, you know, because maybe this probably shouldn't be under the purview of maximizing profits.
What do you want to sell me? You want to sell me Pokemon cards? I'll buy Pokemon cards. You want to sell me medicine? Seems fucked.
Yeah.
Seems fucked.
Yeah.
Although I do think we all have a right to Pokemon cards too.
I mean, you have a persuasive argument there.
I didn't even give one yet. That's how into Pokemon you are.
No, you did. You said...
No, you said Pokemon, and I think
I
think that was true.
Yeah. It got me. It really got me.
So there you go, folks. 2 big ADHD studies that have been on my mind when I haven't been distracted.
It sounds like the second one in particular, since it's so fresh, is really going to have a potentially big ramifications because, you know, having not done it myself, but having gone through it with my daughter, and that diagnosis is, you know, not that I doubt it or undermine it or have any qualms with it, but it is a very nebulous kind of we're questioning, we're asking about these kinds of, the parents fill out things, the teachers fill out things, and they sort of cross. It's an art more than a measurable science, it seems to me.
I remember like taking the test, and I took it as an adult. I remember taking the test, and it's like a bunch of like real vibe questions.
Yes.
Like it's a lot about vibes. The one that I remember is like, do you often feel like you're driven automatically like you're on a motor? And I was like, that's the wildest fucking question.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Do you ever float on clouds across a milky sky? It's like, what? Have you ever danced with the devil by the pale moonlight?
Did you ever have a dream that dream that, and it's just like,
the other thing about those studies,
so it's like, what the fuck, dude? I don't know. I don't know. And a lot of kids will get diagnosed. And I guess this is, you're saying like, it's not that you doubted.
Yeah.
But as a parent, you're like, hey, I've done more reading about this in the last week than I've done on anything in my life because I worry about my child.
Yeah.
This could be one of 7 things as far as I know. Are we really just going to jump to this one?
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah. And so many of those things you fill out are like, rate this statement from 1 to 5.
Like those weird ass, like I'm filling out an application to work at Target. Like, yes. I feel like being organized is important. Well, that's 5. Yeah. I feel like being late is cool. No, that's a 1, Target. Yeah. Like, I know what I'm like. Yeah. What?
And so the notion that you could maybe not replace, but augment that with a actual measurable, kind of physical indicator.
Yes. Take the test really first.
Powerful. Yeah, right.
Take the test first, and then
do those things in tandem. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and then go in and be like, "Hey, this guy says he's a motor brain. Says he's driven by a motor. Let's put him in there and see what it is. Is it ADHD? No, it's a tiny little Lightning McQueen. Ka-chow! What does that mean? Question. Yeah. What does that mean? Anyway, if you're somebody who writes psychological profiling questions and you listen to the show, please come to the Discord and explain why the questions are bad.
Yeah, and if you're somebody that wants to interact with those people or interact with all kinds of other good people, also come to the Discord, because it's where really fantastic people hang out and chat about all this cool stuff, talk about science stories, and all kinds of other things. It is only available to our patrons at patreon.com/wehaveconcerns.
That's right. And if you pay a little bit more, that's just $1 a month. And if you pay a little bit more, you get a little bit more every month, including bonus episodes, early episodes, video versions of this show, so many things. Just go to patreon.com/wehaveconcerns. Write it down on your list.
Put it right there. Don't ignore it.